Hey everyone, and welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Alana here, and we're continuing our psychology series with none other than Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande has found herself in some very hot water after a cheating/affair scandal with Ethan Slater, which took place a few months ago. It got very messy, it's still very messy now, and with Ariana's new single Yes and aimed to clear up the narrative, it just made things worse. People are so tired of Ariana's behavior, and many of you have asked for a video detailing why she acts like this, what she gains from it, and so on. Now, as always, we are not going to be diagnosing Ariana with anything. Nobody on this channel is her personal doctor, but I do have a master's in psychology, and I can give insight into her actions from a behavioral point of view. I think this is something many people can relate to because we often look at celebrities as if they don't have common issues like the rest of us, when in reality, you'll see the same traits in your friends, family, and maybe even in yourself. Oh! This isn't an excuse for what Ariana does, it's simply a fact. Ariana Grande exhibits behavior that shows she thinks very highly of herself but has extremely low self-worth. What does that mean, to have low self-worth but high self-esteem? Well, it means that instead of choosing decisions that value you as a person, your insecurities make you choose drama rather than value. Ariana doesn't need help choosing a man or getting him to commit to her, but that alone doesn't seem to fulfill this madness in her mind. Ariana has a track record for cheating on men and getting them to cheat with her. This is why back in 2014 on our blog Scandalous Media, we labeled her as a serial cheater. I have yet to hear of a story of her staying faithful to literally anyone, and for us average folk, it's like, why doesn't she care enough about herself to stay in a healthy, stable relationship? Well, maybe it has to do with the fact that she isn't healthy nor stable. Ariana has had many controversies in the past. I can make a video detailing all of her scandals that are now buried and almost forgotten, but her actions represent her mindset, and she just isn't a healthy person, both physically and mentally. She's quite toxic on all accounts, but that's for later on in this video. Instead of Ariana looking at herself in the mirror and thinking, this isn't who you are Ariana Grande, you don't put yourself in situations where you're a man's mistress, a homewrecker, you're more than that, she instead does the complete opposite because deep down she doesn't value herself to be better than that, to be above cheating and lying and chaos. Ariana is extremely insecure, it's almost paralyzing. She does very intense things because at her core she's a very insecure human being. Her appearance changing completely every 2 to 3 years shows that. The rapid weight loss that is concerning everyone, which she thinks is nonsense, shows that. The plastic surgery rumors that she only opened up about very slightly shows that. Insecure people can oftentimes put themselves in bad situations almost as a force of habit because they subconsciously don't think they can do better. Someone like Ariana will put themselves in situations like affairs because they get a high out of being chosen. Ariana has a song called Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored for a Reason. Break up with your girlfriend, yeah, 'cause I'm bored. She has this weird need to stimulate herself with problems, it gives her an adrenaline rush. This behavior doesn't just coincide with Ethan Slater, where she was his mistress turned girlfriend, it's something she does with almost every guy she has publicly been with. We have a video on that where we go into a very deep dive into her past relationships and how all of them are connected to cheating or her being the other woman. So go check that out if you want to see how all these stories unfold, because quite literally every guy mentioned has a public story with Ariana being the other woman. We even have a video going into detail uncovering the entire Ariana, Ethan Slater, and his wife Lily J drama. Go check it out because you can't make up a story this good. To give you guys a little pattern synopsis, Ariana was the other woman with Big Sean and Naya Rivera. She was also the other woman with Pete Davidson and Cassie David. It was rumored that she cheated on Mac Miller, may he rest in peace, with Pete Davidson. She also got exposed by Jai Brooks for cheating on him with Nathan Skies. And now she's the other woman with current boyfriend Ethan Slater and his now ex-wife Lily Jane.
What?
Just these examples all fall into the category of Ariana chasing men who are not single and having them choose her over their previous significant others, or just getting involved with a new guy but keeping the old one with her still. It's just like she said. Break up with your girlfriend, yeah, 'cause I'm bored. But in the real life scenario, she doesn't wait for them to break up with their girlfriends, she prefers cheating with them right at the beginning. The blame goes both ways 100%, but it is very concerning that this is a well-known fact about Ariana, and if you do a little bit of research, you'll see that this is how the majority of her relationships start. For Ariana, it's not enough to have a man to herself, she needs to take him away from someone else. She needs to feel like between her and the other girl, she will be picked. It's like a game in her brain that triggers the reward system. Again, a girl who values herself wouldn't need to put herself in a situation where a man is choosing between, my longtime girlfriend/wife or this new exciting girl I just met. And this wouldn't be labeled as homewrecking if it wasn't already Ariana's third or fourth time doing this publicly. Keyword publicly. Who knows how often something like this happens behind closed doors? Some women simply like taken men, and oftentimes men will be selfish enough to do the wrong thing as well. Especially someone like Ethan, who was weak-minded enough to leave his wife and baby for what he thinks will be a star-dazzled lifestyle with an A-list singer. Odds are for Ethan, Ariana isn't settling down with him either. As much as I oddly like Ariana and can get down to her music, I can also admit she's just not that great of a person. Before we start, I want to say that there is going to be a difference between the Ariana Grande we knew before the Manchester attack and the one after in terms of how she acts as a person. She's changed in some ways and stayed the same in others. I'll clarify which times I mean by giving dates. As you guys know, the accident that happened in Manchester was in 2017. For Ariana and many celebrities like her that we talk about on this channel, she's just not that good of a person. The amount of money these people see, the amount of fame, adoration, people getting ready to give you whatever you want, all that special treatment that's given just to you, it will get kinda hard to stay sane and humble. She has a long diva history, she has no loyalty for anyone, not even herself, she switches up on people behind closed doors, and so on. I have such a hard time trying to understand people who sabotage others when there is enough room for everyone to succeed and be great, but I wholeheartedly believe it's because of insecurity. One story that I am specifically referencing with Ariana switching up on someone is with her Sam and Cat co-star Jennette McCurdy. Now, we all know Jennette McCurdy's issue with Ariana. They had a friendship where it seemed as if Ariana was a bit of an airhead mean girl, and Jennette got hurt since she had good intentions with Ariana. We saw this when Jennette was starring and producing her web series, What's Next for Sarah, where she sits down with Gloriana and does a good job at visualizing and explaining how Ariana was in 2014, which was a self-absorbed airhead making her way downtown. I am so beautiful.
Oh my god, I'm joining you. God, it has been such a long day. I've been to the facialist and the manicurist and the nutritionist. It's like, what even? Like, what is life? Like, I can't.
Can't what?
Okay, so how have you been? What have you been up to now that your show's been canceled? That's a super bummer, right?
Yeah, it sucks. I've just been...
Anyway, I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, except not like a chicken because I'm vegan, obvi. Oh my god, what was I saying?
Who knows?
Oh, my music, right, that was it. Okay, so I have this idea for a music video, so just like, let me know what you think.
Again, I say this as someone who oddly enough does like Ariana Grande. Anyway, those two had a pretty nasty fallout and it led to Jennette teaming up with Perez Hilton, which is never a good idea. And then confirming Gloriana to be Ariana. Not that we needed much confirmation, it was pretty obvious. Perez says, "It was super funny. Can I be in an upcoming episode? I can be Gloriana's obnoxious gay brother." Talking about Frankie Grande, who was both obnoxious and gay. Then Jennette writes back, "Oh my god, yes, or Gloriana's boyfriend who gets cheated on 8 times. Ouch. Well, the shoe does fit there. Perez wrote back, "Oh my god, too good. I'm not even joking, let's make this happen. P.S. I heard that Gloriana gets around." The whole thing was giving off ugly and immature for sure, but there is context. You see, Ariana in 2014, from a public point of view, was more of a menace than she is today. Because she was such a huge condescending diva, many people in the music industry couldn't stand her. She definitely got under their skin, and it would happen in public. When she performed Problem in 2014 and did her little dance with her "I'm so much better than you" attitude, it had Rihanna cracking up mid-performance. Because she also went from I bake cupcakes and wear vintage dresses in 2013 to boom, leather on leather in 2014, everything about her and her image seemed fake. Now that Ariana is basically a veteran in the music industry, nobody's going to treat her the way they did in 2014, which was mocking and making fun of her. Well deserved or not, that's up to you to decide. Even when Naya Rivera talked about seeing Ariana in her house with Big Sean, she uses certain words to kind of laugh at her as well, saying, I walk in, go downstairs, and guess what little girl is sitting cross-legged on the couch listening to music? It rhymes with Shmariana Shmonde. You know how annoying you have to have someone get so annoyed they decide to publicly call you out? Ariana used to be, and maybe still is, the type of girl that when you confronted her, would laugh and say, I don't care. The same way you would confront a bully with their posse and they play the condescending laugh, I don't care, when in reality, they're gonna go cry themselves to sleep at night.
Talk to me about boys, and I was like, no. And they were like, why? And I was like, because I'm not Big Sean's ex, I'm not Niall's possible new girl. I'm Ariana Grande, and if that's not interesting enough, don't talk to me.
That's
Safe to say, whenever someone came at Ariana's throat, it was because she gave them good reason to. There were so many stories about her coming out happening at such a rapid pace in 2014, just when she was hitting her big break. And listen, the negative press doesn't come out of thin air. There's always going to be a story that happened, which usually has some truth to it. We'll get to that point in a moment, but let's quickly go back to Jennette McCurdy and Ariana switching up on her. So as we can see, Jennette enjoyed directing and producing, and on her time with Sam and Kat, she was supposedly supposed to direct some other episodes. That is until Ariana, threatened to quit the show if they allowed Jennette to direct any episodes. You may be thinking, that's a wild story, where did you get that from? And allow me to introduce my source as Jennette McCurdy. In her book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, wild title, she details an experience where she had the opportunity to direct a few episodes until someone important to the show threatened to quit if they allowed that to happen. Some of Ariana's fans argued that Jennette was talking about Dan Schneider, aka the creator, but most people agreed that that doesn't make any sense because if it was Dan, he would simply say, no, goodbye, because he was the one in charge. He wouldn't need to threaten to quit, he had enough power to say no. 99% of the people who read this book are confidently saying it's about Ariana, which leads me to think, why was she so against Jennette doing something that she didn't care for? It's not like Ariana was trying to produce and direct the episodes. There was always some high animosity and competition between the two, including the fact that Nickelodeon paid Ariana more than Jennette per episode, even though Jennette was coming from one of the biggest hit shows, iCarly. Even so, Ariana was the biggest star on Nick, and she had all the executives and producers wrapped around her finger, and she couldn't possibly pass up the opportunity to throw a fit if that meant someone else stealing some of her shine, could she? Again, she held herself to a very high standard, but was crumbling with insecurity. That was a very mean girl move to do, and as much as we have all moved on from their animosity, it does shed light on stories that haven't gotten much coverage that show that Ariana doesn't mind being an okay-ish person. Another example is when Ariana Grande had to approve whether or not Scooter Braun was allowed to manage Demi Lovato. Before both Demi and Ariana said sayonara to this outdated genocide supporter, there was a time when signing with Scooter Braun meant guaranteed success. It meant you were going to be the next Justin Bieber or Ariana Grande, and so obviously Ariana couldn't let Demi pull a fast one on her. Scooter is actually the source of this story when he recalled the time he was thinking about managing Demi and Ariana needed to check her out first. He said, I told Demi that I need to speak to the two big solo females we represent because I want to make sure they are okay with this. And the two artists he was talking about were Tori Kelly and Ariana Grande. Tori had no issues with Scooter signing Demi, but Ariana needed to meet with her to discuss the deal. He says, Demi and Ariana went for coffee, and Ariana called me and said, you have to do this. I want her with us. She's in our family. She'll be protected. She's my friend. I want her with us. I want you to help her. Giving savior complex, but okay. That was Ariana's way of scoping out her competition, but once Ariana saw Demi was not a threat, had all her walls down, and was just ready to bake cupcakes all day, she didn't feel threatened like she did initially. Let it be known, if Ariana said no, Scooter would have left Demi hanging, because these two are opportunists after all. Now, going back to Ariana not being that great of a person, there used to be a pattern of people not wanting to work with her because she was such a huge diva. This was before Manchester, when Ariana was a huge diva and nobody liked working with her. People would publicly shade her for being so unprofessional and difficult to work with. There would be times when Ariana's insecurity used to get the best of her, and she would demand to only be photographed from a certain side and angle, and used to have to check all photoshoot photos and demand the ones she didn't like to be deleted. She was even caught on camera doing that on the red carpet to a paparazzo. No matter the year, no matter the day, I have consistently highlighted two things about Ariana Grande. 1, she's a serial cheater, which we all know now, and 2, she is deeply insecure. Ariana's physical appearance has changed so much over the years that it's been quite a topic of discussion between the media, fans, and even Ariana herself. I made a post about an update to her physical appearance and titled it, "The Many Faces of Ariana Grande." In that post, I mentioned that something I always get asked about whenever Ariana is a topic is her appearance. People are either confused, disgusted, and/or worried about the many faces and races of Ariana Grande. I do want to point out that many, if not all, celebrities have had plastic surgery done, or just regular work done. It's such a common thing that it feels comical pointing to one person's work, when in reality, everyone is doing what everyone else is doing as well. Ariana is no stranger to having drastic physical changes, and the topic has gotten so big that Ariana has discussed it in multiple videos. She said in this one YouTube video,
"Full transparency, as a beauty person, as I do my lips, I've had a ton of lip filler over the years, and Botox, I stopped in 2018 because I just felt so too much. I just felt like hiding, you know? Didn't expect to get emotional."
Everyone jumped to say, "Oh my god, Ariana, she's so brave, we have to protect her from all this hate." And I agree, it was nice to hear Ariana be upfront about some of the stuff she's done, but this was a tactic done for many different reasons. First, by admitting to getting lip fillers and Botox, people will stop conspiring about the other plastic surgery rumors, because according to them, she admitted to everything. This is like when Kylie Jenner admitted to getting lip fillers, and suddenly the detailed charts of her lip size throughout the years were gone. Social media treats celebrities admitting to rumors as a justice case solved. Suddenly, no one is pestering them about all the things they're lying about, even if the celebrity only gave back 1% of honesty. Second, Ariana saying she used beauty to hide and talking about depression is feeding the fans which lines to say. Suddenly, the fan screams, "No, she didn't get a nose job. She only looked that way because of depression." Or, "She never shaved her chin down. She only put some Botox in it during a time where she felt bad about herself." You give a little bit back, and suddenly the fan thinks you're best friends with them. Now, of course, we can all jump to say it's no one's business, but the truth is these people are public figures, and they do hold some sort of responsibility to the public, especially if they have young fans that they influence. The majority of Ariana's fans are young adults, and now with access to all social media platforms and insecurities on the rise, the comparisons are at an all-time high. Why do you think so many people send hate to the Kardashian families for setting up false beauty standards that have destroyed many teenage girls? Even if you're like me and you don't need to get your beauty standards from famous people or just don't care how they look, there's still something about it being the viewer's business after all. Physical appearances doesn't just stop at plastic surgery. Ariana isn't just famous for her music, she's actually quite famous for shape-shifting into different ethnicities. Most people were annoyed at Ariana for doing this because she was shape-shifting into a different ethnicity, benefiting from the culture and aesthetic, and then hopping onto something different. From a public point of view, I can safely say Ariana does this out of an insecurity, where she gets so obsessed with looking a certain way that she eventually transforms herself into someone else. With that transformation comes a new aesthetic and mindset, which is why it looks like Ariana hops on cultures that benefit her, and then when they don't anymore, she moves on. But it's not like she wakes up going, today I'll be Australian, tomorrow I'll be Asian. It's more like obsessing over a certain beauty standard and going through a phase. Ariana knows that everyone on social media trolls her for changing races, but as we see here, she doesn't have enough shame to not do something. If something makes Ariana happy, she has an I want it, I got it mentality. Even if that's with beauty standards, aesthetics, changing music styles, men, or even taken men, she really inhabits the I want it, I got it mentality. She might be embarrassed about it or feel guilty in a year or two, but if it's something she wants to do in the present moment, then she won't care to not do it. Another topic about her physical appearance is her intense weight loss. When Ariana first came onto the music scene after her time on Victorious, she was notorious for being too skinny. She had to address the rumors before because fans in the media were worried about whether she had an ED and was wearing a red string on her wrist as a sign. The red string that she no longer wears was a bit controversial because half of her fans in the media thought it was a cry for help, while the other half, including Ariana, said it was worn for spiritual reasons and to ward off the evil eye. She doesn't wear the string anymore and it stopped a while ago, but in 2014, that red string was a topic in a lot of conversations. It makes me sad to say that from 2014 Ariana to now, there does seem to be such a drastic weight loss change. And it's happening more recently now than ever before. Even in her Yes and music video, we've seen Ariana that looks very different. We all know how traumatic body issues can be on a person, and no matter how we see someone, their own self-projection will triumph over all, and this is the case with many celebrities in Hollywood. Since her weight loss has been such a huge topic of discussion, Ariana had to once again talk about it in a video by saying,
I don't do this often. I'm not good at it and I don't like it, but I just wanted to address your concerns about my body and talk a little bit about, I think we should be gentler and less comfortable commenting on people's bodies, no matter what. There are ways to compliment someone or to ignore something that you see that you don't like. But I just also wanted to say, one, there are many different ways to look healthy and beautiful. I know personally for me, the body that you've been comparing my current body to was the unhealthiest version of my body. I was on a lot of antidepressants and drinking on them and eating poorly and at the lowest point of my life when I looked the way you consider my healthy. But that in fact wasn't my healthy.
She said there are many different ways to look healthy and beautiful, and that fans posting pictures of her previously thinking she was healthy, but in reality it was actually at a time where she was unhealthy. This is the classic celebrity game of, oh, you don't know how I was feeling in that picture 3 years ago. I was depressed.
The second thing is you never know what someone is going through. You never know. So be gentle.
It's like when she commented on the filler and Botox situation, she's gonna address something, give you back 1% so we can all back off. I don't even think people were being hateful. The majority of the comments came from a concerning point of view, but someone who might be in an unhealthy situation will take all concern and make it negative.
If you think you're saying something good or well-intentioned, whatever it is, healthy, unhealthy, big, small, this, that, we should really work towards not doing that as much. So even if you are coming from a loving place and a caring place, that person probably is working on it.
In this case, the people who get the most hate for changing their appearance, such as the Kardashians, Bella Hadid, the Jenners, or even Ariana herself, are usually the people struggling the most, so let's have some grace with everyone.
Even if you are coming from a loving place and a caring place, that person probably is working on it or has a support system that they are working on it with. And
Ariana has always had such a niche way of wanting to present herself, and it comes at a very odd cost, which leads us to Ariana can sometimes be looked at as the perfect pop star in how she stages her entire aesthetic and is in control of what you see and when you see it. Ariana does her job as a pop star. She's there to serve. As a pop star or a celebrity, your job is to deliver what the people want. Before the Ethan Slater drama, nobody could really hate on Ariana after Manchester. She wasn't getting involved in drama, there wasn't 45 stories per minute of her being a menace coming out. She gave us pop perfection with Thank You Next, which she tried to recreate with Yes And, but it didn't land. She was getting married, and so the public didn't have much to complain about. Before the Ethan affair took place, Ariana crafted herself into being the textbook definition of an ideal celebrity and pop star. Her image and identity in the public eye was pretty much as clean as can be. She was very cautious and careful of who she lets into her circle, and if you pay enough attention, you'll see that even though she's an A-list star, she keeps herself pretty secluded from the outside world. Since day one, Ariana has been very quiet when it came to paparazzi outings, which should tell you one thing: when she is being photographed, 99% of the time she knows it and has planned for it, such as these photos. Getting candids of Ariana, especially when she doesn't have new music coming out, isn't something that happens often. Even when you search it up, you'll see the same photos from the same events that took place 7 years ago. This works for Ariana's favor because it creates this idea of exclusivity, which will make people more excited to see Ariana when she is photographed because they're not used to constant candids. It also benefits Ariana because she is getting photographed on her own terms and therefore controls the narrative of when and how you see her, her image, her perception, and more. It makes us turn to one source for Ariana content, and that is Ariana herself. All of the Instagram content that she gives us isn't often from professional photo shoots or paparazzi, so this in turn results in her controlling and forming her aesthetic as a whole, and therefore her entire brand. To fans, they only know what Ariana puts out there, and the content she does put out there is not as personal as it seems, despite the fact that she allows you to think it's personal. It's the illusion of intimacy, and she has perfected that with her fanbase. Now, I'm not criticizing Ariana for her image because at the end of the day, a celebrity's image is their brand, aka their career. Ariana excels at that, and it's why she's been able to speed past the competition and book her dream roles and reach new peaks in her career. Whatever Ariana does, she makes it interesting somehow. I didn't care for her being a judge on The Voice, and yet she was constantly serving looks and everyone was talking about it. Her not constantly being in our faces 24/7 makes it even more exciting when she announces anything, and her aesthetic is somehow so clearly niche to her that we associate years and vibes with her music, such as the 2019 Ariana Grande era with Thank You Next, answering back to the public narrative of her while using iconic coming-of-age movies to decipher girlhood and growth. Which is why when she tried to do the same with Yes And, it didn't land well. Thank You Next addressed all the controversy that surrounds Ariana's relationships, and it made the public stop criticizing her so harshly for them. It gave Ariana a way out, saying, "After all these guys, I'm now in a relationship with myself, learning self-love, etc." By using iconic coming-of-age movies, it allows us to grow with Ariana and leave that version of herself in the past. That's why it's such a huge trigger when Ariana got with Ethan Slater and essentially made him move towards a decision that was leaving his wife and kid behind just to chase her around. It reminded people that Ariana has a very controversial relationship history, and nothing that she learned from the past stuck around after all. When the Ethan Slater drama came around, Ariana was still hanging out with him under the impression that she will get away with this the way she got away with everyone else. She'll release another song addressing the rumors, and it'll be a slay just like Thank You Next. Except what Ariana didn't factor in was that people are going to be quick to side with Ethan's wife before siding with her, especially with Ethan's wife literally calling her a homewrecker. She addressed the relationship in this novel that she posted on Instagram, saying that everything was a misunderstanding and said, "I have never felt more pride or joy or love while simultaneously feeling so deeply misunderstood by people who don't know me, who piece whispers together and make what they want out of me and their assumptions of my life." Curl, his wife called you out, not social media. Nobody here pieced whispers together as much as Lily J when she publicly said, "You're not a girl's girl." Nobody in this scenario is innocent except maybe Lily J, because Ariana and Ethan were both responsible for this, and Dalton Gomez was packing on the PDA 3 days after his divorce with Ariana. So it really is a mess, which is why people weren't so fast to forget about it the way they did with the others. Yes and didn't make people any less mad. If anything, it riled them up more, with lyrics such as, "Your business is yours and mine is mine. Why do you care so much whose I ride?" Such an unflattering lyric. The chorus of Yes and is, "Say that shit with your chest." And like, people have been saying it with their chest. Literally everyone is putting you on blast. Another insane lyric is, "No, I won't hide underneath your own projections or change my most authentic life." People were so annoyed that her way of addressing this situation was calling it a projection and saying she's living her most authentic life, which is divorcing her husband and getting another dude to divorce his wife for what? To live an authentic life? Be for real. And everyone would have ate this up if it was a response to the media saying she dates too much, because then at that point nobody's being hurt in the process and the relationship stays between the two people in it. But since there were rumors and speculation of Ariana and Ethan getting together before they divorced their spouses, and their responses being so condescending, is what has riled up people even more.
Of course, there's like an insatiable frustration, inexplicable, hellish feeling with watching people misunderstand the people you love. We know this about the tabloids and about the media and about, like, am I crazy? Don't we know this?
Yeah, but nobody cares for the sake of a good story or for curing one's boredom on the internet.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's like we selectively remember that this is what the tabloids do to people, especially women, based on whether or not we like the person.
A song isn't simply gonna fix this. You have to understand, this was literally her response to people being pissed off that she came in between a family and ruined a marriage. Her actions afterwards showed that she is used to doing whatever she wants and getting away with it. Like I said, Ariana deals with a lot of issues and she's just not that great of a person. Before Manchester, she was a literal menace, then got humbled with the Manchester attack because it showed her she isn't bigger than life. She went through a very rough and dark time period, and for that I'll always sympathize with Ariana on certain levels, but going through a lot isn't an excuse for her recent behavior. Sure, she isn't a diva that's making everyone around her quit their jobs because they can't stand to be in the same room with her, and sure, she isn't racking up celebrity beef the way she did back then because she thought she was better than everyone else, but there's still that I can do whatever I want attitude that gets her in trouble. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this recap of Ariana's life. It's hard piecing together 12 years of her life into one, so let me know if you guys want a part 2. Let me know your comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, follow us on our social media for more. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.